Can you tell us a little bit about how the fire was discovered?
The building was burned down.
Go ahead.
So Saturday morning, I was driving to Charlotte, North Carolina. I was almost there, and it was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and I got a phone call from the alarm company saying that there's a fire in the attic. And so they wondered if they should dispatch. And and of course I said, yeah, go ahead, dispatch. And I tried to call Nate, tried to call some other people around there, Homer, and nobody was answering their phones. Of course, it was early in the morning, and so how it was discovered was the question.
The alarm called you.
The alarm called me.
Yeah.
Who was the first one there?
Nathan or Nate?
Nathan was. Nate. Oh.
Nate did wake up like 15 minutes later and finally called me back or something.
Because I know my phone had like 15 missed calls, and I think it was a year Phil that phoned you. It was a year, right?
I think,
I woke up at like 4 something and I had all these missed calls, and he was like, building's on fire. And I was like, no way. This can't be real.
Yeah, that was the night of the event, and my phone died or something, and I was exhausted when I got home. I don't even think I plugged it up. I woke up at like 6:30, my phone on charge, and when it came up, I had like so many missed calls. And I called Jim back, who's the first person I called back. I had like 10 missed calls from him. And I think you were like near tears already, and you were just like, dude, the building burnt down last night, or Keystone burnt down last night. Mm-hmm. I just started crying. I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I just put my clothes on and just went straight down. It was like 7 o'clock before I got there, but it was engulfed.
So
it was very.
Yeah, they were still trying to contain it to make sure it didn't get the lumber bay.
Yeah, very.
From the time that I got the call, like within 30 minutes, fire was coming out of the roof. 15 to 30 minutes.
When I got there, the whole roof system hadn't clapped yet. Any of it had collapsed. Hadn't collapsed. I could see in the offices everything looked normal, so the truss system started and got the whole truss system from the lumber bay to the end of the offices was all engulfed. So when it all went at once, just in on itself.
The best we can tell, it was started from some electrical short or something in the attic. It was started in the attic, that we know, because that's where the alarms were going off, is in the attic. Like the alarms in the office spaces didn't go off till later. That's what got us notified, so best we know.
So tell us a little bit about the Saturday. What did that look like as you guys decided to regroup? Where did you start?
It was rough.
Well, Leon wasn't here. That was the first thing that was crazy. Like, he was in North Carolina, and at that point, there was no point in him cutting his trip short. He went down there for a wedding, right?
Yeah.
So it was, and Dex was down there as well.
I was in Georgia.
So there was only 3 of the core team here, so we were all there. And a lot of the employees were showing up. I know Doug was there early. And we all went to IHOP.
Yeah,
Nate,
Elijah, Door.
Yeah, it was pretty emotional. Yeah. Everybody's pretty broken up, tore up about it.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know. We were just kind of all in shock for a couple days. We're just trying to figure out what we could even do. But it was good. That was imprinting. Like, we just kind of all regrouped and was like, well, let's just go get breakfast together. And we went and ate together. It was a special moment for sure.
Yeah, in hindsight, it was very bonding. Yeah, the whole experience, not just that moment, but the whole thing was very, very bonding. It pulled us together.
So after that Saturday and the breakfast, what were each of your roles in moving forward to kind of get the company back on track?
Well, I think for myself, it already started Saturday morning, because once I realized that we're going to have another office, I couldn't sleep. Like we drove from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or whatever it was, and I was planning to sleep a couple hours before we go to the wedding. I couldn't sleep, so once I knew that, hey, we're going to have another office space, I started calling around right away. Thankfully, earlier we were looking at possibly expanding our office space in Clarksville, so I had a good commercial real estate contact that helped us line up this office within a week, so that turned out really good.
And in the meantime, Level 10, it's our internet people. They
IT.
service they're our IT people. They were instrumental in keeping us going. We worked there for probably
100%.
it's probably 6 weeks before we actually got to move into this office. We worked at a Level 10's conference room for probably 4 to 6 weeks, and they were so great. They let us whatever we wanted. They gave us all key cards, whatever we needed. They were there for us. So Taylor was a big part of us, like because we really didn't stop building through this whole process. We kept Golden Rule was really instrumental in it as well. They pulled a lot of packages, helped us out.
Yeah, big shout out to them.
Yeah, I mean Level 10 and Golden Rule really kept us rolling, and we were able to keep working while a couple people were behind the scenes working on, just keeping figuring out where we're all going to be in a month.
One of the coolest things though about the whole thing, was so the building burned down on a Friday night,
Mm-hmm.
and then we built a building Monday morning. Started a new job Monday morning. I thought that was pretty
Yeah, it is pretty
bad to the
awesome.
bone.
Yeah.
For me, the big thing, the immediate focus was cleanup. I kind of got tasked with cleanup. So the first 2 weeks was just cleaning the site up, getting everything in dumpsters, getting it hauled off so we could start. Because our goal was to start construction as soon as possible after the fire. So I worked on that. I didn't really know what was going on outside of that burned site for probably 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
I was there cleaning up, maybe a week, something like that.
I think for me, the fire sort of took backseat very quickly because, Monday morning early, one of my best friends and brother-in-law, Matt, died. So I was in shock because of that more than the fire. So I was out for a whole week just right after the fire. And so all these guys kept it all together. They're the ones that really pulled through that first week for me.
Yeah, Justin really put in the work. He bore a lot of the pressures and the load of getting us back on track.
Yeah, he killed it. Yeah, Matt down was pretty unexpected too. That was just out of the blue. Yeah, that was pretty tough.
It was a tough couple weeks,
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So, you guys said you were building a building on Monday. How did this impact some of the current jobs you were already working on?
It was, that's kind of the amazing thing is it didn't really affect that much. We got with, so we were at Level 10 the Monday after. They were really great to us. So me and Doug just kind of sat down and said, okay, we're going to call every customer and tell them what's going on. It's going to affect something, and we really don't know what. And I would say most customers were very understanding. We had a lot of past customers reach out and offer their help. That was really awesome, really heartfelt. It meant a lot. But so Golden Rule just pulled most of our materials, and we still had a lumber base standing, so we still had a lot of structural materials at our yard. So we were able, with the help of Golden Rule, to kind of keep business going as usual. We had a lot of people come help us. Jim's brother come help. Two of your brothers came and helped. We just had a lot of people from the community help us out a lot. And with Jim kind of taking care of cleanup, and then me and Doug were kind of taking care of, and Nathan too. Nathan was really big with kind of getting everything organized with materials and Golden Rule. And we were able to just kind of make things work for 4 to 6 months until we got our warehouse built back.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're selling yourself short because all the custom order items burned.
Yeah.
And we had to just, y'all, not we, had to just scramble and come up with all that stuff immediately to keep the job flow going. So that was pretty awesome. In hindsight, right? Looking back on that, that's I know for y'all, it was a lot of late nights and stressing, trying to figure out where you're going to get materials from to build.
Yeah, operations definitely took a bigger hit than sales did.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think we sold a building the week after it burned too. It was pretty cool.
I sold 3 that weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, burned on Saturday, sold 3 buildings the next week.
Yeah, I think it goes to show it just brought us closer together, and we just worked what we had to do, just whatever we had to do to make it work. I know the special order items and stuff like that, supply short, chain supply, material supply shortages were already a big problem, and then on top of that, having stuff that was 6-week, 8-week lead times to be able to try to pull that stuff together in short term was really tough.
I remember thinking, man, I hope we make it through this. Like there was definitely times when I was like, I don't know if we're gonna make it. Looking back, was it been exactly a year, and seeing how far we've come has been so cool to me. And it's just like again reiterating that it brought us closer together, made us stronger for sure.
So you said it was a fairly quick move from Elkton to Clarksville because you had already kind of been looking at new office spaces.
Well, we went to level 10 first, which they had an office space there that we could just utilize. And they were doing all the IT stuff, so our servers burned up. So thankfully, they had all the files backed up, and they got us up and running the following Monday. So over the weekend, they got everything spun up on another server somewhere, and we were up and running again. Didn't lose any data.
Another cool thing is Monday mornings culture meetings are a big part of our identity, right? And then that Monday we all met at the burn site
That's right.
and sifted through the rubble and tried to find souvenirs, and some of us were able to find some cool things. And that was really neat to do that together. Just it wasn't practical; it didn't need to happen, but everybody got there that Monday morning at 7. We had donuts and sifted through the rubble. That was really cool.
There's a trash can somewhere in here.
Yeah,
I think it's out.
It's over there.
Yeah, we have a living
Yeah.
trash can that burned in the fire.
We found some like Keystone T-shirts. Everything had burnt but the logo. I hope we still have that stuff. Do we, Doug?
I don't know about the T-shirts.
We have some souvenirs.
Yeah, we're gonna
that's
frame
on
them.
laptop.
Yeah, and my junior found his bicycle, just a frame, so we kept that. It was at the house.
Poor Nate's fish is gone.
Yeah,
We did find some stuff. He found a calculator. It still worked.
yeah, it did. It still worked.
I have a video of it. I was watching.
Dexter lost his speaker. We hear
Yeah, I
about
lost my
that.
speaker. Yep.
Dexter couldn't work out right since. Pretty tragic.
So you guys have mentioned many times that culture is like of the utmost importance with Keystone. Specifically, in what ways has it brought you guys stronger? Brought you closer together?
The fire or the culture?
The fire,
Related to
how
the
has it
culture.
related to the culture and brought you guys stronger?
This
Go ahead.
So this isn't like poetic or anything, but there's nothing that'll bring people closer together than just going through the trenches together. Like it's so vulnerable. It's so just trying. You're just kind of worn down. You're at your bare minimum, and going through the trenches with people like that it'll build your relationship up really quickly. And when you're able to see, like when you see a business burn down, you're like, well, that's gonna take a year. Like, good luck with that. And we didn't light anybody off. Everybody was there Monday. Everybody sifted through the rubble. Everybody made the commute from Clarksville to Elkton with no questions, no complaints. And it was just like, dude, this team is committed. This team loves each other. And that just makes you want to do it more. It makes you want to commit even more. And then when you go through something like that and you persevere and you come out stronger on the other end, like, I don't know any way to get closer with other people. Like that's what it's all about.
Yeah, going through a trial like that together is what's brought us closer together, and realizing how, like you said, how committed everybody is, and just being and going through something like that. We have something in common now that people that started new don't have, unfortunately. And like Doug's a good example of it. I think he had been here like 2 months, and he feels like he's worked here for 5 years because, oh yeah, he was here when the fire happened. Like we went through that together.
Mm-hmm.
We sat at IHOP together and ate pancakes, crying because we didn't know what we were going to do, if we were even going to have a job in a couple months. Like, so that was really cool.
But you never got even a hint of that. Like, you never, I mean, I know that we were probably worried about, are we going to make it through this? But like, in just a daily grind of like trying to figure it out, you didn't really get that. It was just like, we're just going to make it work. We're just going to make it happen. We have to work in Clarksville for the next year in a conference room of our IT place, then that's what we'll do. And then we're just not going to complain about it. We're going to have, I have some really, really, really fond memories from that whole experience. Some bad ones too. Like, it wasn't easy, but some of my fondest memories are from this experience together.
I do believe it just brings us all together. It really did. And it just shows how much people really cared. That to me just meant the world.
Some of that stuff's the hardest stuff to put into words. and you're there and you experience it, and it did bring us together. But how do I explain to you how it brought us together? I can't really tell you in really well. Like, it's tough.
Have you guys made any major changes to operations since the fire?
Like, where were we just forced to grow in?
Or just, you had the opportunity since the whole building came down, like, is there anything that you guys decided to do differently when you were rebuilding and moving forward, things that you were kind of thrust into the opportunity?
Splitting the yard and
Yeah.
yeah, there was definitely some growth in personnel and not as much processes. What we do is pretty simple. Like, it's not rocket science.
We built back differently.
Yeah.
We came out of it and decided not to build our offices inside the facility. We have a bigger facility. Now we rent down here in Clarksville. That's been a big advantage to sales. I've seen to have closer proximity to a lot of our customers. Makes it easier for project management and sales from what I've seen. So that's been a small change.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest change is just simply splitting up sales and operations from the yard. That was the main major change, and probably the yard struggled more than the rest of the team did, just because they had a really crummy setup for a couple of months there till we got things rebuilt.
Yeah. Remember putting in the septic tank?
That's one of my fond memories.
We got there, all 5 of us, and we pushed dirt all day, and we worked till like 10 o'clock that night, pushing dirt, getting ready for the new build, and we built a makeshift septic system for our what's that called, a mobile office? Yeah, we had that. They couldn't have a bathroom, so we buried a 50-gallon drum and drilled a bunch of holes in it, and that was our septic tank.
It only went like 3 foot in the ground.
Yeah, we hit solid bedrock.
The top of it, we were just like piling dirt on top of it, trying to cover it up.
Thing is, though, it worked beautifully.
I'm not sure if we can put that out there because it may not be legal, but it's pretty cool.
I would guarantee it wasn't legal.
It works.
That's what I did on my new house.
I think they call that a mound system.
It was a mound.
They do. They have a name for those. They're called mound systems.
Did you learn anything that you feel like has directly improved your business as a result of the situation you were put in?
Firewalls.
I think maturity. I think it forced us all to grow in ways that we didn't realize we even needed to. And as tough as things have gotten since then, and will continue to be problems, I think we forget. For me, the lesson was we're never as much in control as we think we are, and there has to be a reliance on God, and together we can get through it. But really, we're never as in control as we think we are. So when bad times happen, just stay calm and move forward.
I think it taught us all of how to deal with stress more, and realize to, sometimes we just can't control it. And I just remember that one phone call that I made there in Level 10's office. I was so stressed out, and I was so mad at this one guy because he wouldn't commit to a meeting with the electrical contractor from the electrical company. And afterward, I was just like, man, why? Why can't I just control my own emotions? But it can get pretty stressful. But I know for me, it helped me level up in that area.
I feel like as a whole, it helped us to understand that to grow Keystone, it kind of took that initial fear away, because it was just the next day everything was gone. And so I think from that, it's helped us. It's going to help us grow in the future, kind of lose some of that fear of like the unexpected and what we don't know.
Yeah, because I have to remind myself of that. I should daily. Like when you think you're in control, you're really not. You're never as in control as you think you are. Something else we're just completely missing out on is we had just remodeled that office. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah,
They were sweet.
We are really proud of it. Maybe God was trying to teach us something. But we had just did epoxy floors, all new glass. We had opened every wall up in every office and put glass in it, so it was all open and everybody could see each other. And that was really nice. We enjoyed it.
Laid the tile floor.
Yeah, we laid the tile ourselves. Yeah, in the main entry there.
Yeah, we stayed till I don't know, 11 or 12 one night or whatever it was, laying tile floor in there,
Grouting
it. Yeah, all that for.
Yeah, I forgot about it. We sunk a bunch of money in revamping this whole thing and a lot of sweat equity.
We had that big custom entryway done with a custom cabinet curved with marble or granite countertops.
Yeah.
What do we have like that for 4 months, 6 months, roughly?
4 to 6 months, something like
Yeah,
that.
we were
It's not very
really
long.
enjoying
We were living the life.
Mhm.
Man. Nice office. Everything was going good.
it. Yeah.
Now I have to work in this dookie thing.
It's funny
This
though.
couch
I
and
must have a
Goodwill.
bad memory. 'Cause sometimes I forget about that place.
Well, I
I
think
just-
it just speaks to our mindset of the past is behind us and we can't change it. Because a lot of people, or I shouldn't say a lot of people, the tendency is to get stuck on, well, this is unfair, it's unjust. We're so determined to move forward. I'm so proud of the team for that. Like, our mindset is forget what was there. Like, what's ahead of us? Sorry, I kind of cut you off.
No, that's fine. There's one thing so I was in Georgia, so I wasn't really a part of this whole thing. But I remember waking up. My phone was dead too. It was like 9 or 10 until I found out it burned. And my wife actually seen it online somewhere. Somehow someone had sent her a picture of it, and she was like freaking out. Like, are you gonna have a job after this? And I remember it's just like, no question. Yeah, we'll be at it. I think that's one of the first times I realized, how much trust I have in the team here. Didn't even cross my mind that I wouldn't have a job when I got back.
Wow.
That's awesome. About tear up here and there.
For some reason, I don't remember that you were going to Georgia, but I guess it's because I was out of town too.
I thought y'all went to the same wedding.
No, we were at a Bible school thing.
Oh, okay.
So did y'all learn anything valuable about your coworkers during this that you didn't really know before?
I think I learned that how much these guys value what we've got here as a team, and that to me probably means more than anything else.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just don't know how to put it in words. Like, how much we value what we have, and also how much ride or die everybody is, and how awesome that is.
So as Keystone continues to grow from this point on, what are the medium to long-term plans as far as locations and how to continue building back in the years to come?
I think short term is like in the next year or two, we want to have a new office built here in Clarksville. We're going to keep the main operations in Clarksville just because it makes more sense, is what we're figuring out. And we're just going to continue growing, do what it takes.
Do you have any advice for other business owners that might go through a similar situation?
Invest in your people, because at the end of the day, buildings can burn. You can have a complete shift in industry and all that, but people is where it's at. Because that's what got us through what we got through. Like, without a good team, I don't think we'd be in business still.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that because I have envisioned or like thought back, like what if this would have happened 3 to 4 years prior? What would have been the difference? It would have been a huge difference. If we didn't have the team that we did when this happened, it would have been a whole lot worse to go through, I think.
Well,
So
I
the team
question.
is,
Yeah, I question if we'd have made it.
well, I do too. I don't know that I would have wanted made it.
That's a good opportunity to quit.
It's like that would have been probably the best thing to do
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah, because it's cool. We started focusing on it, 3 years prior, roughly 3 years
Yeah.
prior, really putting a lot of focus on investing in people and building teams. And I really, really think that's what got us through it. And God, I only give a lot of credit to God. He definitely had a plan in all this.
Yeah, 100%.
You talk about like a couple years prior, you would have just wanted to shut it down. What I like is when you actually invest in people. Like, shutting down wasn't an option because we cared about the people. It's like we can't do this to them. Like, they're depending on us, and we have to keep going.
Yeah.